Hey everybody, it's Cyborg, and I'm joined by Temp as always, and we're doing the Injustice Complete Comic Book Review of the entire series, and this would be Year 2, Issue 3. So let's jump right into this. We're continually doing these every single day, a new issue until we've gone through the entire series. Anyways, so this issue, we're picking up obviously where the last one left off, but we do kind of see a flashback to start where we see the destruction of Krypton and Superman as a baby, little Clark, little Kal-El gets put in the rocket and sent off, so the origin story that we all know what happens, we've seen it a million times. So we see that happen, and then we flash forward and we see Ganthet, or however you say that, Ganthet, scantily clad Ganthet.
I don't remember what that's in. Let me open the comic. What's Ganthet in reference to?
I don't know. He's just the Guardian.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah.
Ponytail.
That's his name. Ponytail. Hey, Ponytail, get over here.
I need cues.
Sure.
That's how I recognize things.
But anyways, we last left off with him wanting to speak with Superman, so now here we are getting to see him talking to Superman. He basically warns him and just says, look, this isn't your planet. You don't need to be interfering with things. I appreciate what you've done in the past, but now I've seen the way you're no longer just interfering. You're flat out controlling, so please stop. You know, sometimes doing nothing is the best thing you can do. And all of a sudden we see a little voice in Superman's ear. Literally, he's got electronic in his ear that's talking to him, and it says to ask the question. So Superman counters back with, did you just sit there and let Krypton die then? And Ganthet seemed to be, he had no answer for this. He was just silent, like, yeah, that probably is what happened. And Hal was just kind of taken aback by that as well. But that's where we left off, and Superman just starts freaking out, and he even says, you know, stay off, get the hell off of my planet. So now apparently Earth is his planet, so we're really going down that rabbit hole of him, as if that wasn't apparent already. Now he just outright says that it's his planet.
And he apparently has the authority to tell people to leave, or else he can now...
Or else he'll kill them,
Earth.
basically. Yeah. So there's that. And then we see, after Ganthet leaves and Hal leaves, we have Sinestro coming out, and he's essentially pulling the strings while Wonder Woman is out. So since Wonder Woman's knocked out and can't pull the strings, we have Sinestro playing that role. And he's just explaining to Superman that, yeah, they'll come for you like they did for me, and just trying to draw a parallel between him and Superman. So it's a bad day when Sinestro, you can be compared to Sinestro.
Yeah, no, it's not great company to keep around.
Sure. But that was the end of Chapter 1, so their big thing going back and forth was the big part of that chapter. Then we go on to the next chapter, and Ganthet is peeping. He's a peeping Tom in the window. He's like eavesdropping.
Dude, I love that.
That's so
great.
creepy. Hal Jordan, I should probably put some context here. Hal Jordan is talking to Carol, and he is explaining that he has to go away again. She says, you know, you've done this several times before. This is like the 4th time you've broken up with me, and you always have to do it in some sort of self-sacrificing for the greater good type of way, so I can never be pissed off, but this time, you know what? And then she eventually calms down and realizes that there's nothing really she can say because he's doing it for the greater good. In this case, we don't really know, but whatever the Green Lanterns are up to, they need his help.
The picture's so funny.
Yes, and while they're talking, you have Carol's like, there's a tiny blue man looking in the window, like she just stops and says that. And then Guy Gardner makes a good point. He's like, you're all seeing, right? You can see anything you want. You're omnipresent. So do you just look through the window just to be creepy? And then Ganthet's just kind of going, and he just like doesn't even respond to it. I mean, it's a good point. But yeah, that was creepy.
I love looking at it. Did we cover the Batgirl stuff?
No, that's coming up next. But yeah, and then one thing we did kind of gloss over, I glossed over was...
Well, I see why you glossed over it now that I'm looking back on it. We can probably combine this all into one part later.
Well, the Barbara stuff comes last, but one thing we did gloss over was Ganthet calling in all the different Green Lanterns, like John Stewart and all the other ones that I don't remember their names, but basically they want all the Green Lanterns to come back to help out dealing with whatever they're going to deal with, probably something relating to Superman, which will put Hal in a difficult position. But his best, like, not his best friend, but one of his close friends was murdered by Superman, so you don't think it would be that difficult, but apparently so. Anyways, but then yes, we move on to Superman, I guess, brings in the entire army that we saw in issue 1 of year 1, where they teased, that Superman has this Red Army going on with him, the marching army. And so we see the debut of them in Gotham, and Gordon has to let them in. And the mayor of Gotham, I guess, agrees to this, but Gordon wants none of it, but he has to let him in. So he does that. He goes, and I guess he just goes right up to where Barbara's been hanging out. Oracle's been hanging out in her little secret lair. And he's just like, let me in. I know you're in there. I know you're here. And she's wondering, like, how he even knew that she was there. She's just kind of trying to play dumb when he goes up there. And he just outright says, I know what you've been doing this entire time. I know that you've been Batgirl ever since you first snuck out your window. And I know that I always knew Batman was Bruce Wayne. Like, he just basically blows all this up. Like,
yeah, this is interesting. This is kind of, yeah, go on.
I don't know how to feel. Like, there's part of me that likes the idea of Gordon knowing the entire time, but he's just playing along. As he says in the comic, he's just played his part, probably for the greater good, because if he outright said he knew, it might complicate things even further, but at the same time, it wouldn't, because then she wouldn't have anything to hide. So it's just really weird, but I also like that mysticism that he doesn't know, and that...
Yeah, that takes all the fun out of it if he knows, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't like Gordon knowing who Bruce... I didn't even like it in The Dark Knight Returns. It bothered me. I think Gordon should have never found out who Batman
You mean Dark Knight Rises?
No, Dark Knight
or Returns, yeah. Both, either way, yeah.
Oh, yeah, both. Well, I thought they handled it right. Like, if you're going to... Yeah, in Rises, if he's going to find out, the way he found out in Rises, I thought was well done.
Yeah, at the end, yeah. That was cool. But, yeah, no, I don't like that he knew all along, but I'm willing to see it out. I mean, this is just one version of many. It's not like canon or anything. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just... It'll be interesting, I'm sure, but yeah, to me it was just very abrupt. Like, there wasn't this huge build-up. It's just one day, just all of a sudden he's just showing up at Oracle's door like, yeah, I knew the whole time. What's up? Like, I knew this entire thing, this whole charade that you've been going on about. Completely unnecessary. I knew this entire time. Like, it was just very abrupt and weird, and like I said, if it was something that was built up, like we had seen, like it's essentially basing itself off all the interactions that we know from comic history to try and make this an important moment, but it hasn't been built up in the Injustice universe, so I feel it fell a little flat to me. But yeah, I was a little taken off by the idea of him knowing that entire time about Bruce Wayne, and like, even, like, if it was just Barbara, that'd be one thing, but the idea of him knowing Bruce Wayne was Batman just completely... And his whole reasoning of why he knew the entire time is, I'm a detective! It's just like... I mean, he's got a point to a degree, he's not stupid. But at the same time, there was so many fun moments between Batman pretending to be an... Like, or not Batman, but Bruce Wayne pretending to be an idiot just to throw Gordon off. Like, I like that little interplay between them. Bruce Wayne would continually make himself seem like he was a drunk playboy billionaire that just didn't even care and wouldn't even be interested in, that kind of thing to throw Gordon off.
We also fall into the vortex of, does Batman know that Gordon knows he's Batman?
Yeah, I knew all along too, because
Batman knows that Gordon knows that he's Batman?
Of course Batman knows, because he's not just a detective, because he's the world's greatest detective. Of course he's got to know. He's got to be greater than Gordon. So yeah, they're both playing a charade when they both know. So they're both just going out of their way to try and pretend. So they're both just like purposely letting things slide and sweeping obvious things under the rug just to like keep it going for each other. It's hilarious. That would be a damn sitcom skit. Like, I want to see that skit where they're both just clearly know, but they just pretend just for their own sake.
I have to applaud the fact that they are taking advantage of that it's an alternate universe and are doing some things differently. I
Yeah,
that is good, but like you said, it feels a little rushed, like many things this comic do. But it's not a complaint. I'm definitely not criticizing this.
sure.
It just it's not my preference.
Yeah, no,
I
I
like Gordon
agree.
not knowing, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I agree with you. It's not something I hate. It's just yeah, I prefer it the other way, but I'm willing to see what they do with it and hopefully make it interesting. I at least want to see some interesting interactions between Gordon and Batman that kind of laugh at the fact that he knew. But yeah, then that leads. I mean, there is a reason why all this happens. It's not just completely there just to be there as a shocker in the comic or anything. It is leading up, and it's a follow up to something that they stated earlier in earlier issues. And Gordon basically has a heart to heart moment with Barbara and says, "Look, I just wanted to tell you this. You need to know that he had cancer." And they have a hug and that whole thing, which is touching. But yeah, it felt very rushed. You've been saying that a lot of things in this comic feel rushed. I sort of agree, but this so far has been the most blatant of anything. That this could have been its
Yeah.
own story arc of, how do I tell Barbara? How do I let her know? And all this type of stuff. And, the interplay between him and Barbara and him and Bruce slash Batman of hiding the fact that he knows. Like, all of that could have been built up for a big reveal, and I feel like I would have appreciated it more. But yeah, you just blew all of that at once. That he knew about their identity, who they were, and also what they've been doing. And yeah, the whole cancer thing could have been a really emotional moment when he finally tells her, but it was just kind of like they shot that load early, so to speak. Which it was still touching, but
Yeah.
yeah, it could have been more.
Yeah, but I mean, it's well, they still technically have time to do something with it.
Sure,
I guess now that Gordon's in the loop, which
it's fun in
it
its
seems
own
like he
way.
is. Yeah, we
Yeah,
may get a lot more Gordon.
yeah. I'm interested. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see him play up with all these other, play against all these other superheroes. So that's the end of the issue. Is Barbara says you don't know everything about me. She releases like a secret door or whatever, and you see Catwoman, Huntress, Black Canary, and whoever I'm forgetting. Other female
Uh, Batwoman.
Batwoman. There you go. That's all the image there. It's almost like their own birds of prey, so to speak.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like kind of a grim reminder that all of Batman's male allies are dead.
Yeah, probably because maybe they don't. I mean, Superman. Yeah,
Like
I
all the like planet destroying metahumans we're on the front lines with the
yeah,
exception of Arrow. Arrow was just in the horribly wrong place at the horribly wrong time.
right. But yeah, I mean that wraps up the issue. Overall, an okay issue. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. Had some filler, but it didn't really have filler. It just got to the point with both chapters. It's just yeah, we haven't really picked up the speed on seeing things happen. We're still seeing the build up and getting all the pieces. We're setting up the dominoes at this point for
Yeah, we're back in
the initial
exposition
yeah.
mode, so I expect it to slow down quite a bit.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, we covered it. It'll be interesting to see where they go. Looks like the next issue is titled Sinestro, so we're going to be seeing more of Sinestro coming up. I'm ready to see all these characters really start to, you know, tear apart the scene going on. You have your Sinestro, you have your Doctor Fate and Zatanna, you have what's going on with the Green Lantern. So I'm interested to see what's really going to happen with all these characters that they're introducing.
Yeah, no, and normally Sinestro's a favorite of mine, but this is not my favorite rendition of Sinestro. But I'm still curious to see how him and Superman interact.
Right.
That should be fun.
But all right, that'll do it for this issue, guys, in this episode. So you guys take care. We'll see you tomorrow with issue number 4 of year 2, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I gotta make sure I get it in once per episode. And have a good one.
Peace.